Shaft, that 70s black power icon and ass whooper, is coming back to a very different America. Is this film gonna be a bad mother?
Shut your mouth.
Just talking about Shaft. Dig it. It's Screen Junkies News. Hey cats, Shaft is back. The script, written by Blackish creator Kenya Barris and The Goldberg's writer Alex Barnow, has been kicking around for new lines since at least 2015, but now the studio has attached Ride-Along's Tim Story to direct. It should also be mentioned that Tim Story directed the original Fantastic Four. Yeah, that one. While the plot is still under wraps, Deadline's Mike Fleming Jr. believes that this will not be a reboot, but much like the movie Creed, it will be about the son of the private dick who's a sex machine to all the chicks. No word yet on if the original John Shaft, Richard Roundtree, or his nephew, John Shaft II, played by Samuel L. Jackson in the 2000 reboot, will reprise their roles, or who they're eyeing for the man himself. So here with me to compare shafts is this fine panel. We got Dan Murrell, Jonathan London, and Mr. J. Washington. Gentlemen, thank you so much for being with us today.
Of course.
So,
happy to be
damn
here.
right.
This is a very sensual panel all of a sudden.
You know what else is sensual?
All day.
Tim's Story.
That is not.
That's an opinion.
That's an opinion.
What do we think about rebooting this thing now, 17 years after the Samuel L. Jackson version? Is this something we need? That one was a John Singleton. This one will be a Tim Story. What do you think we can expect?
Anything but Kevin Hart.
With the cast, with the director and the writers, I think we're going to expect kind of a funnier version of it. 21 Jump Street is one of the things that I was thinking. Like Sony's had a lot of success with those kind of spins on their classic franchises. But here we go. I think with Tim's Story, he's really familiar with comedy. He does a lot of it, and both those screenwriters, those shows are funny. Those shows are really well written and they're funny. So I think we're going to expect a comedic version to come out.
But Blackish is able to, particularly, I mean, the Goldbergs is, from what I've seen a few episodes, is funny, but Blackish is able to really balance humor with, I mean, it's a very societally aware show, and I feel like the Shaft movie would need to be.
Absolutely. Did you see last week's episode?
I have not seen a lot of it.
It was brilliant.
So, and that's the thing, you got a great point. Blackish, Kenya Barris is a great writer for Blackish, and to watch what they do, and anytime there's something serious that happens, how they translate it into humor in a half hour, and you're like, whoa, this hit deep, but it's good. I want to keep watching it. The Goldbergs is a good show. But you got these two writers, of course, like we were saying, it's going to be a comedy. But Shaft has never been comedic. It's always has comedic elements. Even the Sam Jackson movie had a lot of comedic elements within it.
Some not intentional, but yes.
Right, some not intentional. I mean, Jeffrey Wright as a Puerto Rican, that's comedic in itself. What's your name, Peoples? My name is Peoples Hernandez. I was like, you just played Martin Luther King a couple years ago. Get your life together. But that, I just think we could see that in this movie, depending on where they go with it. You know, is it just going to be, it's going to be politically driven possibly, but it's what type of bad guy does he go after? Is he taking down the man?
Well, let's talk about what Shaft is for anybody who doesn't know the 1971 Blaxploitation film. So you have Richard Roundtree, and it came out at a time where this was like the Blaxploitation sort of explosion, and was sort of the gold standard. I mean, it was made for $500,000, went on to make $13 million, was nominated for an Academy Award that it won for Best Song because Isaac Hayes is the man. The score was also nominated, and let me tell you, if you're making some sweet, sweet love, that is the score you want to be listening to. I mean, not that I know from personal experience. Now, it was rebooted in 2000. The villain was Christian Bale. What do we want to see?
You want my shoes? Take my shoes. You like those shoes?
You remember more of that movie than is necessary.
Because I'm a Samuel L. Jackson fan.
Sure.
So to watch him reprise a legendary role, and also to have Richard Roundtree in it for a nice cameo, and not even just a cameo, he was in a couple of scenes.
Yeah.
To have him in it was like, okay, we got somebody who can carry this character. Now, of course, Samuel L. Jackson won't carry it over to this next film, but it was a good film to watch.
We don't know that yet. You know,
he could if he's still doing Capital One commercials.
Well, I mean, if they're doing something where this is like his son, this is John Shaft's son, who's like, why wasn't I John Shaft the second? You gave it to the nephew. You gave that the second to the nephew.
The nephew, yeah.
It ain't Malachi Shaft.
Anyway, you know, I could see this going in a way where he does have this street like family, and there's a bit of a revolt against that, and ultimately he has to the heart that these writers inject into their shows like Blackish and Goldberg's, and that you do get the heart in things like 21 Jump Street when it's about friendship and loyalty. You could definitely see this being about family and legacy, but also having some pretty humorous moments that may or may not play into what we all know about the Blaxploitation movie, and as we've seen it 40 years later, and being like, wow, you could actually poke fun at it a bit, like, because we think we've seen that with Luke Cage, where they do kind of do their own version of the Blaxploitation.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Luke Cage kind of, I mean, that was a well-received show that covered some of the same ground. So it's like, and that was more dramatic. So now I see where Shaft is like, well, okay, we can do that, but it feels like that's already been done. Do we go? I think if you go too comedic, though, it's almost like. That seems really too weird.
That becomes Black Dynamite.
Exactly.
That literally becomes
Which
Black
is also
Dynamite.
great.
Yeah.
You have good things on both sides now. And so it's like, okay, so where's this one going to land? What side of the spectrum is it going to land?
I want Jonathan to tell us the pitch that he had earlier as like a potential spinoff. I'm totally putting you on the spot because I think it's genius.
One of my favorite comedies of all time is Keenan Ivory Wayans' I'm Gonna Get You Sucker.
I love that movie.
I mean, that movie beat everybody to the punch as far as being a complete love letter to Blaxploitation, yet being incredibly hilarious. And I say it all the time. I last week I forgot what happened, but I said, "He's dead. Can't you hear the music?" and then. What the cup? Pour it in my hand for a dime when Chris Rock is in the chicken place.
For the ribs.
I love, the barbecue place. I love that movie. I think it's incredible. Every time I put on a Band-Aid or have a blister, I go, ah! If you haven't seen I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, please
I'm
go
going to
see
give
it.
Jonathan a round of applause for that because his knowledge of this great movie is amazing.
But you were saying, do it as a spin-off of that.
Yeah, make it as a spinoff. But no, the Wayans are doing all right.
Well, Keenan could do something. And again, Keenan is getting older, so, he's left all the movies to Sean and Marlon. And Damon's got Lethal Weapon.
So are you saying that that's who you would like to see in this? Because it is a Tim Story movie, and with a Tim Story movie, there is a high probability that this might be going to Kevin Hart.
His last 6 movies have all starred Kevin Hart. He's Kevin Hart's like resident director.
I'm John Shaft. This is what's gonna happen. Listen, sit the baby down, Tori. Listen, I gotta fight crime.
I don't want to hear that.
Dad,
I don't want to be a private dick.
I don't want to be a private
The fact that it's a dick implies that it's already private.
What is the purpose? Oh my God. Ice Cube. Where's Cube? Cube.
No, there's a good chance that
He's gonna run out with his gun.
Now, Ice Cube.
That's totally something that could happen. Ice Cube could
I can
come
see
back.
that.
I can see Ice Cube.
Especially after what he did in All About the Benjamins.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you reprise the Ice the way he did in All About the Benjamins as the bounty hunter, I could see him being a newer Shaft. I can live with that. It's also my other choice, Michael B. Jordan, if we're going to go younger.
Okay.
We're going to go younger.
Sure, but don't you feel like, I feel like what a lot of you guys are saying is that it could be a Creed 21 Jump Street sort of hybrid.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like Michael B. Jordan is already so loyal
he's already,
to that. Now, back in the day, Donald Glover said that he didn't care about Shaft when he was brought up for the Spider-Man movie, and somehow that turned into Shaft. But I think that young Lando could be the bomb of Shaft.
Yeah.
He's
Looking at him
funny,
now.
he's sexy. Woo! Hold on. Give me a sec. Yeah. Okay. Good. Sorry, Atlanta. Who would you guys want to see? What? You don't want it?
I didn't say I didn't want it. It was just your
kidding?
reaction. I could live with him being Shaft, but you was like, oh, Lord Jesus, stop catching the vapors.
I got the vapors. I got the lemon pepper chicken with the sauce. Come on. I just love him.
She's watched every episode of Atlanta.
Invisible Car. It's the best. So who would you guys want to see?
I like the idea of Ice Cube. I don't know. I think that the more I think about it, the more I'm like, he could totally do that.
And think about the soundtrack he could create if he also played the part.
Or Dr. Dre could put it back to Chronic another 20 years.
Okay.
Or Detox, I'm sorry.
I think I jokingly said Urkel earlier.
You said-
but I actually, I'm gonna redo that. I think the guy who played Dwayne Wayne with the glasses,
Kadeem Hardison.
and just like, you could see him like scouting as a private dick, and then all of a sudden he's like,
After
and it
Kadeem
zooms
Hardison
in.
played that horrible vampire zombie in Vampire in Brooklyn, I don't want to see
judge.
Kadeem.
There are so many
Don't
throwbacks
judge.
today. Well, our girl
judge.
Charlie Feldman is over here on socials, and we asked you guys, Charlie, what are people saying? What do they want to see?
So David Knoll also says Ice Cube because
wow.
he does straddle the line. I think mostly does comedy these days, but could maybe pull out a dramatic performance. At TJ Dex says Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali, yeah.
Yes.
It was a
Mahershala
fantastic
Ali is
choice.
incredible. And also that goes back to the Luke Cage thing.
Yep.
And he was so
Definitely.
good in Luke Cage.
I was so
That
mad they
was-
killed him in episode 7.
Spoilers.
Spoilers.
Sorry,
Oh,
guys.
do you not-
spoilers.
Jay, do you not
oh,
care?
Geez.
Who
Oh,
is
geez.
not this whole series by now? No,
But
he died in 7 episodes.
He was
not care?
incredible.
He was.
He was
He
fantastic, and it would be interesting to see him flip flop from villain to
Yes.
hero. Anybody else?
So we've got a couple more, but Jack Shipley, the one and the only Jack
I
Shipley.
love Jack Shipley!
I love his question. He asks, should it be modern day or should it be more 70s era? But that will be hard because it's supposed to be the son of Shaft, so I don't know how you do
Yeah,
that.
it's
with-
gotta
if
be
he's
modern
not,
day.
like,
How old was Richard
itty-bitty.
Roundtree in the 70s? Like this kid
He was
like,
already
he
49.
had, he had a kid when he was like
Yeah.
7.
He had a kid he
What if
acknowledged.
it's like 80s-ish? What
work.
about that?
But then John Shaft II
'Cause then, right,
may
you-
not have happened yet.
Right.
Wait, hold on. I don't really know how these things go, but doesn't it go like person, junior, second?
Yeah, his nephew was named after him. His nephew was Samuel L. Jackson's character was the nephew that was named after Richard Roundtree, the original chef.
But they gave him
Maybe
the
it's
second
like,
anyway.
But maybe it's George Foreman. Maybe it's just like every child
What?
in the lineage.
They're all named Shaft.
Gets,
They're all named
yes.
John
my
Shaft.
baby George.
Yes.
They're all his name
They're
George.
all named
the babies.
Shaft. They're
All
all
my
named
babies
John
is John.
Shaft.
Which really-
First name Shaft, second
Yeah.
name Shaft.
Shaft,
Just Shaft,
Shaft.
Shaft.
Hey, you know what? That's not a bad idea until they get lost in the mall. Then it's a horrible idea.
Shaft! Shaft!
And just a bunch of people yelling around,
Yeah.
you damn right, you damn right. Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you
Well,
dig it?
we want to know what you guys think. Please let us know in the comments below who should be playing John Shaft. You can always tweet us at SJ News. You can click here for more Screen Junkies because you know what we talk about? Shaft!
You damn right.